Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Olamide Olaoba and I am your grad school advisor. In case you are new to this channel, Graduate School Advisor provide fully funded graduate school admission tips, graduate school sustainability advice, and postdoctoral career guidance. If you want to follow more on these tips, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified each time I release new video. And so today I'll be talking to you about different types of ways to fund your grad school education and how to apply for them. So the first thing I'll be talking about is assistantship. If you're a grad school student, you can fund your education through assistantship. There are quite a number of assistantship or types of assistantship, and the first I'll be talking about is the teaching assistantship. So as a teaching assistant, you assist a professor in grading a course. You assist a professor in conducting a tutorial section, and again you can also assist a professor in setting up a laboratory. It is also possible that your assistantship is through a research assistantship rather than a teaching assistantship. So as a research assistant, you are expected to do laboratory related work. In most cases, students that are research assistants we primarily focus on what they are doing, especially developing their thesis. At another instance, a particular work may be dedicated to you in the laboratory, like keeping the lab inventories, or other than that, you may also be saddled with the responsibility of preparing certain reagents. Other than that, you may also be employed as a project assistantship, and this usually come with a lot of work, especially on the field, like trying to assist a professor on field work. This is usually the case of students who are in the engineering field, urban and regional planning, or the field of architecture. On the other hand, it is also possible that your project come as a GA. A GA is graduate assistant, and here you have an on-campus employment. It may be in the university library or in the university stores. You can also work as office assistants, and when this happens, you become a graduate assistant, or you are working as a graduate assistant. So the time of employment or the percentage of full-time employment is usually between 0.25 to 0.50 FTE full-time employment. Having said that, what are the benefits of assistantship? The benefits of assistantship are numerous. They include tuition waiver. When you are granted a tuition waiver, you don't have to pay any school fees. You don't have to pay any tuition. And that is because you are a graduate assistant, or because you have received an assistantship from the department or from the university. Additionally, this may also cover your course fees. This may also cover your student health insurance. This comes with a monthly stipend. This monthly stipend will assist students to fund their living costs or living expenses. Then I'm going to be talking to you about how to apply for assistantship. Let me first mention that assistantship usually sometimes may come with the application for PhD program. By default, when you apply for PhD program, you'll be automatically considered for graduate assistantship, either teaching assistantship or research assistantship, and in some case, project assistantship. But for students like master's students or some PhD students, they may require a separate application for graduate assistantship. It is important sometimes for some certain set of students to resume to the school before they can apply. But I will recommend that as soon as you are applying for a particular university, begin your application for graduate assistantship. And what you want to do is to write cold email to professors telling them your interest in working with them, and that way if the professor have funding, they may fund your graduate education. And I want to recommend my video on how to write cold emails to professors if you have not watched it, and I will be leaving the link up here. So like I have mentioned, as soon as you commence your application, you want to reach out to the department, the graduate student coordinator, the graduate recruitment coordinator. You may also want to reach out especially to the international student and scholar services, who will definitely have slots or different opportunities associated with graduate assistantship in the university, like working as an office assistant, working in the university stores, or working in other places like library in the university. When that is done, you may be able to secure a position for yourself. Another type of funding for grad school is through scholarship. A grad school student may be funded through scholarship, and maybe a full scholarship or a partial scholarship. And this may include a tuition waiver. It may also include a monthly stipend. So an example of this is the MasterCard Foundation Scholarship, the Erasmus Scholarship in Germany, the Chevny Scholarship in the UK, the NAWA Scholarship in Poland, FAPESP, CAPES, and CMPK Scholarship in Brazil. All these type of scholarships are full scholarships that are provided by different agencies. For instance, the Chevny Scholarship is provided by the British government, whereas the FAPESP scholarship is provided by the state of São Paulo in Brazil, and the CMPK is like a federal scholarship in Brazil as well. So we have different types of scholarship. At another instance, the scholarship may be institutional based, which you also want to check. An example of an institutional based scholarship which you may be interested in is the scholarship at the Victoria University of Wellington in New Zealand, the scholarship at the Eastern Mediterranean University in Turkey, and the Community IELTS scholarship in the University of Cape Town in South Africa. All of these are examples of scholarships which are full scholarships that are also institutional based. Apart from that, like I have mentioned, a scholarship may come as a partial scholarship, and this may be provided by different institutions across the world. And during the course of your program, you may also have the opportunity to win some scholarships, which may be in form of grant in aid or some financial aids. These are all type of scholarship that may support partly or fully the cost of attending a graduate school. Again, I also want to talk about how to apply for scholarship. The first thing I want to recommend is to understand the eligibility criteria of the scholarship you want to apply for. It is also very important to understand the application window, application cycle, the application time period that a particular scholarship opens and ends. So you want to make sure that your application is submitted within this time window. Again, you also want to make sure you understand the application process. You want to know whether or not an interview is involved in this process, and if it is not involved, you want to also know what exactly is involved in the process, and you want to keep everything done at the right time soon enough, and you submit your application. And lastly, I will be talking about another ways to fund your graduate education, which is a non-common way. It is a non-traditional way, which is through loan. There are a lot of international loans that students can actually take or take to fund their graduate school education. An example of a loan is the loan of Empower. Empower loan in the United States is an example of loan that can be taken to fund your graduate school education. But I'm going to be talking about some certain caveat to this. An example of what I want to mention is the difficulty of proving your ability to pay this loan, especially with a consular office. Sometimes this may lead to denial. However, I want to encourage that you don't solely depend on loan to fund your grad school education, especially if you're an international student, because you may have some difficulty in proving to the consular officer that you will be able to pay back this loan within the 2 years of studying your master's, or even within the 5 years of doing your PhD. And this is the reason it may be very difficult to demonstrate a tie with your home country, especially trying to prove that you will come back to your home country after your education. And then how do you want to continue to make this payment? You must be able to answer all of these facts, put all of these facts into books on how you are going to be making these payments even after your graduation. So if that is well discussed, then I believe you may be able to convince the consular officer to grant you a visa. So other than that, if you must depend on loan, probably the loan may just pay the deficit you have in the cost of attending. And lastly, which is something you may not like to hear, but then it is also possible to self-fund your grad school education. If you have the money, you can fund yourself, of course, but this is not the news you want to hear. And I just want to encourage you to consider various ways that I have mentioned, especially the assistantship, and scholarship, which is one of the best way to fund your grad school education. So I have come to the end of this video. If you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified each time I release new video. Thank you, and see you in the next video.